know what that means. Get to your seats, everybody. It's time for the Kino Corner.
Fucking get
Hello.
in there, sit down. Sit down!
Oh, God, I'm here. I'm sorry. Anyway.
Thank you for sitting down.
Welcome to the Kino
You may
Corner.
proceed to watch your film.
Yes. We'll be talking today about Peter Jackson, Beyond Middle-earth. All Peter Jackson films that have nothing to do with Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, etc. Obviously, the things that he is most known for. But there's a few things to talk about before we get into that. Actually, before we get into the meat of this, there is one thing I do want to tell you and them, because I literally discovered this on Friday. When I was like doing some of the YouTube channel, I was like searching for stuff. I ended up searching Kino Corner just to see what pops up. This shouldn't become an issue, but I found two other podcasts called the Kino Corner.
Oh?
The reason I say it shouldn't become an issue is both of them also have a low subscriber count, and both of them have not been updated in years. So should be fine. And I should be fine.
No, we're good.
Yeah,
we're the better one.
Yeah, we got
cute little icons.
Yeah, we got the cute icons. I got Talking Anguirus. I need to check with my that artist I commissioned and see. I know this one she said it would take a while, but the my little guy. I mean, for now, I'm fine with this. But yeah. Anyway, let's jump right into it. Talk about some trailers. There's not much in the realm of trailers today. I actually had to dig for a few. There's three mails I wanted to show you. First, Tarot. And also, real quick, for those watching, you'll notice I actually remembered to put images on the slides this time. Yay!
So we're not saying like, hey, here's this film, and everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yes. I'm gonna try to do posters and just stills going forward. I'm trying to just dip my toes in and just I'm just treading lightly, I guess is the appropriate term, because everything I stream on Twitch will then be uploaded to YouTube, and I want to just make sure I'm doing everything that is allowed within the realm of copyright, because both of them have different rules for some fucking reason.
They're all being really pissy.
Yeah.
If you fuck up any time.
Yes. But that being said, Tarot. I'll be honest, I don't have a lot of thoughts on Tarot, but I mean, it looks like the typical like A24, Annabelle, like those kind of horror movies. The concept is fine. Basically, like you draw a tarot card, and that's kind of determine how you die, like what's on the card, like that. Will summon like a creature or be a cause of death. Like think of it like a Dungeons and Dragons deck of many things, but you're basically choosing your method of dying.
I hope the sun just crashes into my house if I pull it.
You say that, and part of the reason, there's two reasons I can't take it seriously. One jokey reason is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. When I think
that was the first thing I was thinking too.
Yeah, because of Stardust Crusaders, I cannot think of tarot cards without thinking of stands. It's just ingrained in my soul. I don't.
So the stands are coming out to kill you whenever you draw it now.
Exactly. Yeah. But the other thing, modern horror movies, specifically things like from A24, things like Annabelle, the like the kind.
Yes.
I'm
trashy horror movies that go towards the lowest common denominator.
Yeah. And sometimes you get like diamonds in the rough, like Malignant.
Yeah.
But
Maligma.
But in general, like I don't really grasp into these. I don't want to say I hate them, because like my first exposure to that, like this wave of horror movies, came when I tried to watch Insidious. And I know I'm in the minority of this, but I do not find that methed out Darth Maul looking brotherfucker scary at all.
Leave him alone. He's been through a lot.
No,
No,
like
I mean that's fair. It's not everyone's cup of tea.
yeah. Now, to be fair to the movie, like before we talk about more about Terror, to be fair to Insidious, I find the scene that everyone goes back to, where he's looking in the mirror and you see his face in the mirror, like that is a
Uh,
legit. That's a decent jump scare, good scary scene, great atmosphere. And, and outside of the part that I don't like, Insidious for the most part is passable. It's fine. It's just not my cup of tea. The scene that just kills me, and Insidious, and why I I don't know. I feel like current horror movies, like Imaginary and Malignant, have kind of solidified that horror movies go for some quirky twist or something. Quirky being the op term, not scary, quirky.
right.
Is when they go towards into his realm or whatever, and you go to this big scary looking room. And when they get there, he doesn't know they're there. He's like literally in an office listening to tiptoe through the tulips. And like all of the horror is now gone. Like we interrupted this guy while he was like doing his taxes. What is going on here?
Maybe it's an allegory for
I don't know.
taxes.
Like that killed me, and it's
The slow trudge along to do your taxes will eventually kill you. You know,
maybe.
death and taxes, the only two constants in life.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's so stupid about it.
But that movie, it kind of said so. Like my thoughts on these movies, that it's hard for me to get into them unless they are notably and exceptionally good. Malignant, I love Malignant. I don't think I love it as much as you do, but it is a good movie. I like
I
Imaginary.
fucking love Maligma.
Like, but you love Maligma.
I love Maligma.
But Tarot, I might like it because I'm a sucker for creature design, and the creatures in Tarot,
They did look good.
yeah.
They
There's
look fucking cool.
like there's good creature design. I might give it a shot for that, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to see. I'm willing. You know what I mean?
I know to turn my brain off for this one. Is
Yeah.
what it's looking like.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna expect anything too crazy.
Yes. If you're into these kind of movies, this looks like it's going to be more of that, and it looks like it's going to be good. Like if you like movies like what was that one with like that those YouTubers made where like the porcelain hand or whatever was it, like Talk to Me?
I think yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. I think it was
Yeah,
Talk to Me.
Raka Raka did that, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, which blew my fucking mind. But anyway, I don't want to lose track. But yeah, if you like those kind of movies, Tarot, it seems you're gonna like Tarot. It's not drawing me in with more than just like the creature design, but that's just me. Honestly, I wanted to like use Tarot as a bridge to talk about like my stance on those kind of horror movies. You know, there's good ones out there, but for the most part, they're like right now they're a dime a dozen. I want there to be better horror.
Yeah.
Anyway,
because people don't take horror movies seriously enough. But yeah.
Speaking of not taking it seriously enough, Mufasa.
I didn't even watch the fucking trailer because why? Why? Why do we need it? Like
I don't know. Like I watched the trailer
I
because
just
like,
don't care for these things, man. Like I don't like these fucking live action. They're fucking CG for one.
Yeah,
and it's like it's impressive. Don't get me wrong. Like the CG is really nice looking and all that, but it was just like what little I watched of the one for the Lion King was fucking stupid. I got to see the scene of spoiler alert for a movie that everyone's seen. The scene when Mufasa fucking dies, and just
spoilers.
Fucking Simba, whenever they zoom out, and he's like yelling no and all that stuff. Like they like barely put any emotion.
Yeah,
it looks like a lion just meowing, and it was so. I'm like, oh my god, dude. I was like, why? Why? Why do these exist?
It doesn't even look like he's saying no. He just looks like going, hey.
Also really liked fucking what's his name doing was it slam poetry instead of actually singing his song
Oh yeah.
for his thing. Well, I found out that originally they were even going as far as to not even putting the music in those movies.
I hmm.
And it was a last second decision to be like, no, we need to put them in there.
It,
So
I can see the argument either way for the live action. I I oh god. I understand why everyone hates the live action. I did not watch Mufasa or I didn't watch Lion King or The Little Mermaid.
Aladdin or Little Mermaid.
I saw Aladdin. Aladdin was fine. It wasn't bad. It wasn't awful. It was fine. It
Okay.
it but that's
I never
kind of
saw it.
that's kind of the
I
problem.
didn't even look at it.
Like I've seen Beauty and the Beast. I know some people have given what's her face, her lady who played Belle in the live action.
The Harry Potter lady?
Yeah, they gave her crap because of her singing voice. It sounds fine. She's not a Broadway singer. She still has decent pipes on her. Like, but one thing I've noticed in these movies is there's always one thing in the live action that I like, be it an addition of a scene or like a new angle in how they tell the story. Like with Aladdin, they actually gave Jafar more of a grounded political motivation.
Oh?
Like he was actually not. It's implied that he was also very low standing, maybe possibly a street rat, and he just weaseled his way so far up. And when he saw Aladdin, it was kind of a weird. Uh, think like Long John
Like
Silver,
he
where
like saw it where it was just kind of like, what the fuck? How does this guy just suddenly get in on this when I worked my
yeah,
ass off to get up here? Kind of thing.
yeah,
Is that kind
he
of what it
feels
was?
threatened by Aladdin, but he also wants to teach him like, no, kid, this is the way the world works. You have to be like me, but if you mess with me, I'll kill you. That's how kind of how he saw Aladdin as a character. And
Interesting.
see, that's the
Okay,
thing.
I like that.
Yeah, like that was cool. Uh, with Beauty and the Beast, there was an edition of a song that Beast sings, which I love. The addition of that song in Beauty and the Beast. It's basically right before the attack, or right before the villagers come there when Belle and Beast have their big fight. He's basically singing a song where he's basically fighting himself to realize I am in love. That is okay. I need to accept this. That's a great addition to the movie, I think.
No, I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, like, there's even though there's one thing that's good, there's a lot of little things that will get on my nerve. And so far, with the ones I've seen, that streak hasn't really been broken. I gave Mulan a shot. I
Oh yeah, that was the thing. God, they've done so many of these.
Yeah, they have.
Jeez.
Like everything was just fine. I'm not gonna see Little Mermaid because I have a feeling I know exactly what I'm gonna like and I'm gonna hate. I'm
Little
probably gonna
Murmur.
like the girl's singing voice. I heard a sample of one of her songs. She sounds fan fucking tastic.
Right, 'cause I thought she was like an actual like singer.
Oh yeah, she is, and she
Yeah.
sounds great. But I'm curious about what else is in the movie, and you cannot convince me that their casting for Ursula was genuine. I no.
What the fuck? They did a Lady in the Tramp one?
Uh, I think that one. I don't know. There's so many. I haven't seen that one, but to go
No,
into
I didn't know that was a thing. No, apparently there's a Lady in the Tramp one.
oh jeez.
What the fuck?
Well, we need. Okay, I don't want to derail to talk about all Disney remakes,
Yeah. No,
but
I'm just.
the one edge Mufasa has above all is it has the chance to tell an original story, something that's only been like at most implied in The Lion King, like the story of how Mufasa came to be king, why he and Scar hate each other. There is potentially a good story there. I see the trailer and it honestly leaves me with several questions. Um, One that I think everyone has asked about the trailer at this point. You can even see it in the poster. It's kind of why I chose this poster. Why are the lions in the snow?
You know, the great snowy land of Africa.
It's so weird.
It's that much of a prequel. We're going to the Ice Age.
Oh, to the Ice Age.
This is like post Ice Age.
I don't know.
Mufasa's actually really old.
Mufasa's the Highlander.
Yo, could you imagine? It's Highlander, but the only way you have to kill another Highlander is if they get run over by a fucking herd of
wildebeest.
Wildebeest.
Oh my god. Move to fucking Antarctica and never die. But the other thing that Noah's talking about, actually two things. One good thing that I think I'm gonna like this movie. The lions in this movie look more expressive than the Lion King. And I know that's a low bar, but it's a welcome change. I receive it as, oh well, this is what you should have done the first time around, dumbasses.
Right. Well, I mean that just goes to show they're probably taking all the criticism and actually doing something with it. So
yeah.
That's good.
And the other thing I noticed, Timon and Pumbaa are in this movie.
Huh? Yo, watch this be a Lion King 1.5 remake.
Yeah, it might be 1.5, but even then, it's weird because you know how we see Timon and Pumbaa. They're having like a superhero style, like jumping at Pumbaa's like charging at something, and Timon's jumping off his back to kind of do his little meerkat. Meh. But you know who they're fighting?
Who?
Mufasa with fire in the background, and I just see that quick clips. I'm like, what the fuck? Is no one going to explain that? Like,
dude, Timon's gonna pull out the gun. And then that's when Mufasa realizes that, oh, all animals can be my
he's
equal.
He's gonna pull out an AK, Hakuna Matata, tat tat, motherfucker. I'm just so confused. Visually and technically, it looks impressive, but like I don't know. There's so many confusing things about the setting and story that I need more elaboration on before I decide I'm going to see this. Especially because, excuse me, of the track record of live action Disney film. But to move on to something a little more positive, it's not a movie, but recently there was a trailer for a wonderful show that I want to bring up because adult animation is funny. We're in this wonderful age where adult animation is just a normal thing. People really think animation is not for kids, and this is the Exploding Kittens show on Netflix. And
which I was just looking at the trailer before we started, and it looks like a fun time.
Like God has just stopped caring, so like we want you to care about humans again. We're gonna turn you into a cat.
Which is fucking funny.
I love the interactions with Lucifer. Her thing, how like I exist to, like, well, it was basically something along the lines of her entire existence is to mildly inconvenience God, which is hilarious. It wasn't exactly that, but it had that same energy, and
it
did. There's not really a poster for it. Yeah, for some reason I looked at the movie poster of this. It gave me the covers of like the game box art, like the card game. This is like one of the only things they could pull from the show that didn't have like TVMA or a bunch of random bullshit text on it.
Mm-hmm.
But the show looks really funny, and I want to include talking about this because of all the state of adult animation, and not just the state of adult animation, the state of like creators, be it creators of small board games, YouTube content creators, how they're just more accepted. Is that thing that's I know there's a lot of pushback, but in general, people are more accepting of all these big projects. Like Mr. Beast is getting his show. I forget what that's on, and you can talk shit on Mr. Beast all you want. I know some people hate him, but he has a legitimately realistic expectation of what he's doing. Like he knows full well. Like okay, no, like I am actually one of the biggest YouTubers, so this needs to be good. Like if this flops, like yeah,
Yeah, it's okay. He makes enough money already, I think.
oh
So
for sure.
if it flops, but but yeah, no, because yeah, you're right. I think now that we're phasing out like all the people that still think that like animation is just for kids, we're starting to see more people actually take it seriously. Animation, in general. Because it really did surprise me how often people still hold that idea. Like especially like back whenever I worked at the movie theater and Across the Spider-Verse came out, and I had and one of the I watched it, was totally blown away by it, like everyone else was. And I had a coworker that was just like, "No, I refuse to watch it." And I'm like, "Why?" He's after I told him it was like how good it was and all that. He's like, I just it's just animated. I just think that's for kids and all that." And I'm like, "That's such a stupid reason
Just a
to not
nine.
enjoy anything. It's such a dumb fucking reason." And like why are you going to limit yourself? Like it's like the same idea of people who refuse to watch foreign films because they have to read subtitles.
Oh god.
It's literally the same thing. And it's like, okay, have fun limiting yourself, I guess,
Yeah,
on watching
like
anything good.
they'll never be able to truly enjoy like shows like Primal. They'll never be able to truly enjoy shows like Samurai Jack, which hell, Samurai Jack, it started as a kid show, but it became an adult show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Kind of like X-Men 97.
yeah. Actually, you know what? That's a good transition. Talk about new and recent films before we talk about movies, because when I saw X-Men '97, new episode midnight tonight, or tomorrow, whenever people could see it.
Yeah, the final episode of the season is wait, let me double check. I believe it is tonight, yeah. Um yeah, it should be like at midnight or so. I think it depends on where you live. But for most of the people watching this, I think you're going to be here in Texas, so
Yeah,
um good old central times. So, but yeah, the final episode comes out between today and tomorrow,
and
and it's fantastic.
yeah,
It's like surprisingly good.
it's it's hard to undersell. Like I mentioned last week, and that Marvel's been on a bit of a downward trend. Well, none of their stuff is awful, but there's a decline. X-Men
Right.
'97. I know there's that meme about like Marvel's back whenever they release a good movie. To me, X-Men '97 is the Marvel's back thing. This is good
Yeah.
Marvel. This is smart,
It's good shit.
funny. It is. As much as I like Loki, as much as I like What If, X-Men '97 is the best Marvel show they've released. And I I don't want to go into spoilers because there is a lot. There's a lot. Like this show gets away with things and just attempts things that if any other show tried it, they would just get blasted and just possibly canceled.
Yeah, no, the internet would let him have it 100%. But this show does it well because it's well written enough to get away with it,
Yes.
with a lot of what happens in the show. And it's crazy because it has a massive challenge to overcome.
Oh yeah.
It is a continuation of a show over 20 years ago. Oh
Yes.
god. It came out in 92 originally.
Hmm.
Over 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And of a kids show, while continuing it and also being able to have free reign on being a more adult show. And it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, we're adult, we do more adult stuff now. Okay, we're just gonna go ham with it. No, they add enough stuff in there to where it's like, okay, that's more mature. But it's like it was like again, it was very similar to the final season of Samurai Jack, where yeah, we are on Adult Swim, but if we sit there and try to be gratuitous about it, it doesn't come off as genuine,
Yeah.
and it just kind of edge for the sake of edge, I guess would be the word for it.
Like one or two jokes
Yeah,
are passable, like, but in general, like the heart is the original show. And there
yeah,
were jokes in X-Men '97 that they poke fun at all around, like just recent Marvel, recent X-Men. You know the line. But I oh gosh, it's hard to talk about this without spoilers. I cannot spoil this. I keep having to tell myself that.
Yeah. No, we could talk about it whenever the show's out and all that stuff. And no, we have our what? Don't we have a Marvel thing
Oh yeah,
on the little wheelie spinny dealy?
the Marvel isn't on the wheel, but the current plan. Let me look at the calendar. Uh, July is fast, but uh, it's one thing I'm thinking about doing is the depending on how everything lines up, either whichever podcast is right before or right after Deadpool and Wolverine when it comes out, we just make it a Marvel Palooza and just make a tier list of Marvel films. We could talk about it then because that's probably long past the statute
Okay.
of limitations on spoilers. But
Yeah.
yeah, maybe even earlier. But yeah, if you haven't seen the show, watch it. And you don't have to be well versed in the original show. When I watched episode 1 of X-Men 97, I didn't remember jack shit from the original kids show.
Yeah, that's the other good thing too. Is
Yeah.
like as long as you know enough about just X-Men in general,
Yes.
it's fine, which most of the time most people do. You can get away with it. You don't need to know anything about what actually happens in the series. They do a good job being kind of catching you up.
Do and it's just I'm gonna have to rewatch it later. Like it is well worth a watch.
Yeah. And this is coming from from someone who I think like Marvel has absolutely had an absolute nosedive in terms of quality, or than like maybe certain things here and there. And I was getting all excited for the recent Marvel movies, letting kind of directors kind of do their own thing, because
Yes.
fucking loved Multiverse of Madness. And
Oh yeah.
then Thor: Love and Thunder came out, and I was just like, "You guys shit the bed." Um,
Oh man. I yeah, spoiler alert, like if we do the tier list, I have a feeling Love and Thunder is gonna be low. Like I like the movie
Ooh,
well
boy.
enough, but like I acknowledge that movie more so than any other Marvel movie gave me tonal whiplash. Holy fuck.
Yes.
But I don't want to go too far into that.
Yeah.
Um, another film I saw over the weekend with Trey that kind of shift gears completely. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
How was that?
That okay. If you liked Dawn, War, and Rise, you will like this movie. It is as far as general quality of film, how impressive everything looks, how well acted it is. It is more of that. It is a great film. I love how this ape society has evolved, how they're actually like growing as a society, and it doesn't just jump the gun to what it was in like the old '60s and '70s movies. Like this feels like a primitive tribe. Like that stuff is made out of sticks. They're like catching fish, eating berries, or like just getting around to figuring out horses and birds.
So like the other films I haven't watched, I won't watch this one. I'm kidding. No, I do want to watch the other films because I've just heard they're just all fantastic. And
Absolutely.
you saying that this one was really good too. It's just like I'm really happy to see that it's consistently quality.
So I want you to watch this one and form your opinion on it, but definitely watch Dawn, Rise, and War first, because
War of the
on
Dawn of the Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
War of the
Gotcha.
Dawn of the Rise of the Kingdom of the whatever the
Or the
third
Kingdom
whatever
of
the
the
fifth
Planet of
one's
the
gonna
Apes.
be. So I, as much as I preach not to do this, I think there is one part about this movie like, at the very end and that I do not like. And I,
Okay.
after looking about like reviews and those thoughts on it, I think I am in the minority on this. I won't go into extensive details, but let's just say there's a revelation about a character. I think that's the most detailed I can be about like a revelation about a certain character that I it has weird implications for the future or and not or and also some things in the past that I think muddy the message of the whole of like the movies, especially the recent trilogy. But everyone else seems to like it, so I'm hoping I'm just being a cynical little old fuck, and maybe this is just they're turning it into something good.
I see. I see. Okay.
But the
I'll get
even
back to
that
you on it then.
aside, like it was a great movie. If I were to rank them, I think Kingdom is technically my least favorite of the four, only because of my personal taste of the ending. But it's to me, it's like I hate using the term least favorite amongst movies I like, because to me, it's like saying, "Oh yeah, Jurassic Park 3 is like a least favorite Jurassic Park movie." Yeah, but it's still fun to watch.
Yeah. Like it's still got it has like it's definitely popcorn flick.
Yeah, and to me, this is Plastic King. Like, yeah, Kingdom's technically my least favorite of the four, but it's still a great movie. Like, I don't want to overshadow that at
It's like
all.
getting pizza.
But
It's like even if it's not the best pizza, it's still pizza.
exactly, fucking exactly. Like, you're gonna get quality. You're gonna get just great movie. So Kingdom is worth the watch. 97, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Was there anything new you like, be it like a movie on Netflix or anything else you've seen recently?
So there was a reason why I wanted Butcherson to be on this as a guest here, and it's because
I
he brought
asked
the
it.
film over.
Oh.
We watched. It was it's obviously it's an episode too late. But he brought over a film from from Charles Band
Uh huh.
called Crash and Burn.
Oh. Fuck.
Um,
Oh
it
no.
is a 1990 film, and oh my gosh.
Oh.
So on the cover of it, it has this giant robot that doesn't show up until like 10 minutes before the movie's over.
Oh god, that would make me so mad.
Yeah. And basically the film is we have Terminator at home.
Oh, I see the cover now.
Yeah, you see the cover, you see the giant robot on there now.
Oh
So basically it
no.
takes place in the future. It's a post-apocalyptic future. And it's this giant corporation that pretty much owns everything, has these Terminator-like things. That they it's programmed to kill all these people. And so you know how we talked about robot jocks
Yep.
in the last episode? Apparently they made this Robot Jocks 2 Crash and Burn in Europe to like get more people to watch it, even though it has nothing to do with Robot Jocks 1. Yeah. And so but it's awesome. Like Bill Moseley plays the so like the first half of the
Wait,
movie. Like I'm just gonna go ahead and spoil it because like just because
it's a
it's
90s film,
trash.
dude.
It's trash, dude. It's a Charles Band trash film, and he directed it, and Paramount Pictures distributed it. And Bill Moseley plays the and if for those who don't know who Bill Moseley is, he's been a lot of Rob Zombie's films and
Yeah,
like the
I
Devil's
had to
Rejects and all
remind
that
myself
stuff.
who he was.
Um,
Oh my god.
and seeing him so young, he looks like a the love child of Jim Carrey and Willem Dafoe, and he just overacts so fucking hard this film. And once he's like out that he's like the robot and all that shit, it's so fucking great because he just goes ham. And like instead of it being like, like a robot, like this robot has fucking like it just starts going over the top with the shit it says. And he says the title in his monologue, and he's like, and like this chip, I crash and burn. And I'm like, hey, he said the thing. And I like pointed at the screen and screamed that. And I was like, the film is just so good. It's so great. And then it suddenly becomes like a fucking slasher flick. Like he like rips some dude's arm off. He like has sex with like one of these girls in the shower and kills her by
the robot
electrocuting
does?
her. Yeah, yeah. Because like he gets injured. Like they try to shoot it. By the way, there's one shotgun in this film and no one can fucking aim it. And he's all injured and shit, and so like he's like making out with like this girl in the shower and all that stuff, and like kissing up on her, and he's just like, oh yes, keep your eyes closed, I got a secret for you. And so they like they fuck right there in the shower, and then she opens her eyes and sees that like half his face is like all fucked up and all that shit, and she starts screaming. He like grabs her and then grabs the shower head and electrocutes her because he's a robot in the water. But not while he's fucking her.
All right,
She like dies immediately. We'll watch it. We gotta watch it.
Oh hell yeah!
But that's just some of the crazy shit that happens in the film.
And now you know Charles Band.
And it's so great. And then obviously, like everything happens, and then the movie just ends.
Of course it does. It's Charles Band.
Yeah, it just ends. Yeah, it's like an 80-minute film.
Yep. Yep.
And oh my gosh, it starts off as like a detective thing, and then you find out who the robot is, and then you find out there's like a whole like twist at the end too. That of course they have to throw that in there as well. And I won't say anything on that, but because I fully expect you to know. I sold you on this. You have to watch it now.
Absolutely. Please say this is on Tubi.
But yeah, I mean, Butcherson has the film. You can ask him to borrow it. He's got it on DVD, and apparently you can rent it on Amazon.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Amazon, Sling,
or it's on Prime. Oh shit, it's on Prime right now. You can just watch it on Prime right now.
Fuck yeah.
If you need to watch Crash and Burn, go watch it on Prime right now. It's free if you have it.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored. Hashtag enjoy the trash. Enjoy the goofy trash that is these films. And now it's like, now that I know that there's supposed to be a sequel to Robot Jocks, now I gotta watch Robot Jocks. I'll have to find where that is. But that's what I watched recently. And like I said, episode 2 late, but I Butch brought it over, and we had to watch it. Was not disappointed.
All right then.
So that was mine. That was what I watched recently.
I was trying to process like the Robosex you just told me about, but I am sold on this fucking movie.
Yeah.
All right. Well, while we ponder that, there is a bit of upcoming movie news. I'm gonna pull up Discord real quick. I don't have slides for it, however.
I'll draw some for you on like MS Paint. You can throw it up there as I do it.
Our good friend Alex has been really good about posting the movie news.
Yes, he has. That's usually where I...
Yeah. I'll speed through some of the stuff he's gone through. An animated Kingdom Hearts film. Good luck.
I think it'll be easy to follow. You will not have to have any prior knowledge.
Hold on to that feeling. I want you to hold on to that nice and tight. Never let go. And it's going to make
so much sense.
I hope you're right.
It's going to make so much sense.
Live action Scooby-Doo series. I'm always curious because I'm always like fine for more Scooby-Doo, but at this point, I think there's only one thing I really want from a live action Scooby-Doo. Matthew Lillard needs to be either be a main character or a cameo.
I agree. Yeah, he's just so good.
He's so good, but he also he played Shaggy. That was him playing Shaggy, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he plays Shaggy in the original live action first two movies.
And we obviously had those first two movies, which I love fun movies, and I always wonder why the second one gets shit on as much as it does. Like I prefer
it's not
that
bad.
One. Yeah, I prefer that one.
I prefer the first one, but it's not a terrible film.
Yeah, I think I prefer the second one because of how much it owns. Like, hey, this is just a dumb movie. Let's just look at all the monsters. And also, it is a decent trip down memory lane. Like that first scene in the Mystery Inc. Scare Museum or whatever. And you see like live action monster costumes for. There was something like Pup named Scooby Doo. That won me over when I first saw it. I was like, all right, I love this
Uh-huh.
immediately because I'm a big Scooby Doo
If they're
fan.
willing to go that far for all the references, then obviously
Yeah.
they know what they're doing.
Yes. So it could work. Like I just right now the bar is Velma, but that's a really fucking low bar. So, but we don't need to talk about that. Let's see.
No, we won't.
A new Tron movie. Tron Ares.
I would have liked it more. I would have been more excited for it
Yeah.
a year. I would have been more excited for it had they done it before Daft Punk decided they
They were broken.
want to split up.
Yep.
And Jared Leto wasn't attached to be like one of the main characters and shit. I just
Yeah.
cannot fucking stand Jared Leto.
Yeah, because for where I stand on the Tron movies, the original one from the '80s, I think is a gem. I think it's one that
No, it is. It absolutely is. It's a fun time.
Yeah. The
As
new
dated as it is.
Tron Legacy, the new one that came out for Switch Bridges.
That recent one, yeah.
I like that one. I didn't love it, but I really liked it. I think it was on the right track. Correct me if I'm wrong. There was one after that, right?
There was an animated series and a game.
That's what it was, the animated series.
Uh-huh.
And I saw. Okay. I know because I saw clips from it, but I don't remember it, and I don't know if that's testament to the quality of the show or not. That I know I've seen bits of it. Hell, I didn't even remember it was animated. So maybe it's just forgettable. I don't know.
I heard it wasn't bad. I know it was just a good way to kind of supplement the original series or the what was it called? It was called, let's see, Tron Legacy. Oh god, Tron Legacy came out 14 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Tron show. Tron Uprising. That's what it's called. They may also made a game around it too. And I think it's between the film and like the two films. I can't remember when like it takes place in the timeline. Or it might just be its own thing that takes place in it. But either way, it was an anime show. I heard it wasn't that bad.
I just want Tron to just go off the rails. I want them to somehow incorporate like Chat GPT and AI and all that shit into all this,
right?
In all of its awkward glory. Like you have like programs, but they're obviously AI made because they're like off slightly. That would be hilarious.
They could do nice little horror thing with that if they wanted to.
Oh
then you, like, get into the real world and shit. And it's just, like, body snatchers.
Ooh.
Type stuff, but you're like, oh, why are they like the Uncanny Valley stuff?
Yeah. Oh no, yeah. Actually,
and it'll make the weird ass young clay looking Jeff Bridges make sense because it's like, why are you so off? Because we might have something here.
Holy shit. That would unironically work across like the fucking board because of the nature and how it is, that would also draw in like the YouTube crowd, people who watch like analog horror and shit. It would draw in all the horror movie fans. It would draw in like sci-fi peeps who love shit.
Disney, hire us. We have something going on here.
Got an idea. And if it comes out that we see a trailer for this new Tron movie and it's something like that, we fucking called it. We deserve our residuals.
We're suing you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry. You're right.
Yeah. Like either give us our money or put us in the credits.
I'll take either.
Yeah.
I'll also take a couple $1,000.
I also like
you can buy my silence for $1 million.
Yeah. Nice cool million. Let's see another news here. It's not relevant, but I do laugh at that article about the fight breaking out in the Garfield movie.
That was so funny. Well, it's funny, but the guy fucking deserved it because apparently the dude that started the fight like hit someone's kid that wasn't even involved in it, and that is why that guy came in and beat the shit out of him.
Okay, yeah, no, fuck that guy. Because the thing that I was more distracted by than anything is just a weird number of like dude bro frat bros at the Garfield movie. I'm like, what the?
Yeah,
but
the guy that beat the guy in the green pants is a professional boxer too, so he had no fucking chance.
Oh, that's funny. All right. Let's see. John Malkovich in Fantastic Four is in an unknown role. It's a good actor.
Yeah, I
Uh,
like John Malkovich.
who he could be, I have no idea. I
Susan Storm.
Could he be Doom? No, no,
I don't see him as Doom.
yeah,
I don't. He did because the thing is, if you're gonna do Doctor Doom, he has to have a good voice for it, and
yeah. Because
I don't think he does. I don't think he has a very intimidating voice to be Doctor Doom.
I think you have to have
I
be.
know a lot of people wanted Mads Mikkelsen, even though he was already in the MCU to play him.
Who'd Mads play?
Mads Mikkelsen.
Right. Who does he play?
Oh, so he was the bad guy in the first Doctor Strange.
Oh, oh, oh.
Yeah,
Okay, he would have been a good Doom.
yeah.
But yeah, he's
I
already.
mean, there's other actors. I just don't see John Malkovich doing that.
I don't know what it's probably honestly just a side role. Because like I agree with
Probably.
Doom. Like you have to have a good booming voice. I do think because of his mask, he also has to have very at least not super expressive, but expressive enough eyes.
Uh-huh.
Because like your voice and your eyes need to be able to convey everything. Like you look at
Yeah.
pictures of Doom from the comics, you know when his eyes are on you, he's about to kill you. Like you know he has those crazy eyes.
Yes, he
Like,
does.
and that's like
Yeah, he's very expressive through the eyes. So yeah, that's super important.
uh, so I, it's hard to say who they would cast as Doctor Doom. I know shit's getting weird MCU, but that's
That's
let's
okay.
see. Ralph Ineson as Galactus. What has
So
Ralph Ineson?
I'm trying to remember what he's been in.
I'm looking him up
Although I
right
do
now.
recognize him, but I know people really excited for it, for him.
Okay,
He's in the Vivitch.
he's in the Vivitch. He's in the Green Knight. Oh, he played the Knight, I think. Yeah, he played the Knight. Yeah. Oh, oh! I know what I know him from, and it's
What?
not what you know from. It's from the Willow show that came out.
Oh, he was in that?
He was basically the commander that got turned to the evil side. You know, the one that, like, when he started talking evil, you felt it, and as soon as I pictured, like, oh no, he could do Glass. You give him the right
See,
suit.
I didn't get a chance to watch the Willow show.
It, it's
So
good if you like Willow.
okay.
It's
I mean, I
yeah.
didn't mind it when I was younger. So
I would
we have to
rewatch the
go and give it a
movie.
chance.
I like the Willow show, but there was a character that consistently pissed me off.
I see.
And it was the
And it
main
was him.
character.
No.
But no, it's just watching someone make consistently the wrong choice. But it was so. But it is a good show. But I'm looking through this guy Ralph Ineson's like all of his. He's in a lot of shows where he's just playing like side characters or whatever. Have you seen
Yeah,
Ready Player One?
I did.
He was the character Rick. I don't know who that is, but
I don't remember.
the
I watched Ready Player One back in theaters when it first came out and never saw it again. So I remember almost nothing.
the he's he was a random First Order officer in Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Cool.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Huntsman, Peaky Blinders, Prey, not the one you're thinking of, a different Prey. Oh, well,
Okay.
no, he was a policeman in Kingsman. He has a lot of no-name roles. Like a lot
Oh,
of
good
them.
for him.
Have you seen Game of Thrones?
First 2 seasons.
There was some guy called Dagmar Cleftjaw.
That might have been the one though where that might have been the role that people were like, "Oh, hey, I like this guy," and now he's probably finally getting
Probably.
some stuff.
I trust their judgment. I have not watched something I'm trying to think of. I would just look through this guy. So like, I know from Willow, so I know like, okay, no, this guy, the deep, like conflicted voice. He has the voice. Now that I can put like a
To be
voice to the
Galactus.
face and everything, like I think he can do it. It doesn't look like it at first, but like he wears his roles and wears his costume as well, despite him looking like a fucking meth head and just like a
Oh,
very he has the face of and just facial structure of looking perpetually sad, and that's not a dig
oh, I see.
against him, but you see it though,
That's just an
right?
unfortunate. Yeah, I
But
see what you mean.
if you go to his IMDb page, you see him in all these different roles, and he wears everything well. He wears everything like this is a very serious person. This is someone who can and will fuck you up. And so you could and if he's playing Galactus, they're probably going the route of the hey, I don't want to eat your planet, but I kind of have to cuz I don't want to die.
I am hungry.
Yeah. Cuz I want to live and I want the universe to live, so needs of the many.
All right, you know.
Yeah. Uh of course, big news. I know everyone's about it. The new Superman.
Yes,
The,
they showed off how he looks in the costume.
I I like it. I I don't want to fall into the trap of comparing it to Henry.
I'm not going to.
I
I'm gonna let it be its own thing. As much as I liked Henry Cavill as,
yeah.
um, as much as I liked Henry Cavill, like again, I don't think the. I tell everyone this. I don't think the casting for the Snyderverse films was the issue.
No, it absolutely was not.
Um, I have full faith in what James Gunn's going to do with this new universe.
Oh
So, as long as I can keep it on track and like let him cook, I think we'll have something good going on finally. And like just as long as Warner Brothers doesn't try to be stupid like they have been.
yeah, as long as as long as he's had the helms, because the last three movies he was a part of, I have mixed feelings about. I haven't seen Aquaman 2 yet. I've heard it was fine. But I saw The Flash, which had a lot of baggage to it, and that movie is frustrating. Like, it's not a
What was it?
good The Flash.
Yeah,
It's not a good movie at all, but there's enough good things in it that I have to notice it, and it just frustrates me. It's like, why are you choosing to be bad for about 10 minutes, and then you give this fucking killer monologue or this killer performance or this kick-ass action scene? Like,
agreed. Like the Flash was not as bad as like everyone was saying it was.
right?
Like when I watched it, I was like, I did not hate this film, but I do see why some people would have a lot of issues with it.
Yes,
And you're right. It is the film of extremes. It's like The Last Jedi.
yes,
When it's good, it does some really awesome good stuff. When
yes.
it's bad,
Oh,
oh no.
when it's bad, it's Ezra Miller's weird ass Napoleon Dynamite figure skating flash run. I hate it so
Yes.
fucking much.
I hate his run. I hate their run. I hate when Ezra Miller does that dumb run.
And yet, as much shit as you could talk about Ezra Miller, and he deserves it, I hate how well he acted in that movie. All the scenes where he's talking
Oh,
to
they
the
acted
alternate
their
self.
ass off.
Holy fuck.
It was one of the best parts of that. I was like, honestly, like every time they were on screen, I was like, it wasn't, I liked them.
And,
Yeah, no, they gave a fantastic performance.
and I'd like to think that those bits were carryover from James Gunn. Like, we're going to keep it, we're going to keep in the good shit and tie it together as best as we can. And this is going to be a mess.
I hope Blue Beetle's a part of whatever they're gonna do
It
because
seems
I actually
like
really
it
enjoy
is.
Blue Beetle.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
good.
I think it is, and I loved Blue Beetle because how it was so refreshing that it didn't need to be connected to a wider universe. The movie is the Blue Beetle movie. This is why Blue Beetle is awesome.
Yes,
And that was just compared to like what DC had been trying to do up to that point, compared to what Marvel's doing right now, that tone is such a breath of fresh air. I loved the Blue Beetle movie. Plus, it totally
I
helps
do
that
too.
his powers are Power Rangers as fuck. But
Yes, as it should.
I love the villain in it though. How cartoonishly air quotes not racist she is.
Oh, how cartoonish like evil she was and all that. Yeah.
She is
I'm glad it was unapologetic. I was like, yes, more villains like that again, please.
she is the fucking DC villain equivalent of I can't be racist. I have a Mexican friend.
Yeah, my friend. Yeah, straight up.
It was so bad. It was so
That was exactly what she was.
Oh my god. But yeah, like I really liked Blue Beetle. I liked parts of the Flash. I've heard Aquaman was good. But I have high hopes for this. When I see this look at Superman, I mean it looks like Superman. It's hard to really mess up the look.
Yes.
One thing he remembered, and I agree with I think it was Jobby. I was watching one of his videos. He said this is uh, superhero underwear, like over the pants. Yeah, it's unpractical, but superheroes just don't look right without it.
I agree.
Like
If there's one thing I would give it with the like all the outfits I've been trying to do. I was like, I think you need the spandex
yeah,
because it just doesn't look right.
yeah. And granted,
If anything, I'm gonna argue. I think the unitard looks stupider.
yeah,
I'm gonna be honest.
yeah. Honestly, like I kind of agree. Like I've seen so many edits of like Henry Cavill's outfit where they just added like a little bit of just like buff padding, similar to what this kind of has in the shoulders and the underwear, and it
Yeah.
looks so much better. It's not even funny. So I'm glad this one remembered that. I've seen weird complaints about this one, like namely like how nonchalant one is how nonchalant he is, which to me I see like, oh, this is Superman where he's just kind of putting on his, it's like, well, it's Tuesday, and he's about to just right out the window to solve whatever the fuck is going on. But people
Which I'm excited for because I believe he did mention that I think the biggest inspiration for it was the All-Star Superman series.
Oh, good.
And
that's a good
that's
Superman.
Yeah, it's gonna be good if that's the case because that's I think a lot of people really like that one. Because I like down to earth Superman and not that stupid push they were trying to do for fucking making him a Jesus allegory and all that stuff.
Oh
Because
yeah.
I'm sorry, you don't get Superman if you think that he sees himself as a god.
Right.
You're just making Injustice Superman.
Yes.
And that's evil Superman trope. And that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah. Like we can I feel like that's what the DC he was trying to go for, is they wanted to make Injustice eventually, but that's not the most interesting Superman story. Like
It's not. It's not at all.
like one Superman story that like DC made animated movies for a while, and I still hold the opinion that in general, while there are exceptions, in general, Marvel makes better live action and DC makes better animated anything.
Agreed.
There are exceptions, like in the live
Absolutely.
action world, like DC obviously has like the Dark Knight, and in the animated world, Marvel has. I don't know if you've seen. There's like a recent Avengers show.
Can't say I have.
Actually, I say it's recent. I think it was like 2016, 2013, around then. But that kind of went through the motions, and there was some pretty fun episodes. It basically goes into a deeper dive of the characters from what we got from early like Avengers movies, like up the way from Iron Man to Avengers. But it's good. It pulls everything from the comics. Like it incorporates Fantastic Four. It incorporates fucking like MODOK and all the other Avengers and shit.
Oh, okay.
No, it's a little tropey at times, but it's generally good. Not as good as Justice League Unlimited, because good God, that show to me is like the gold standard of superhero shows. It's Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah. No, 100%.
But it's up there. So I'm hoping that's what he's following for it. Also, that's a weird thing. People wondering, how do we make the DC like connected universe work? How about copy everything we did in the '90s? Because Batman the Animated Series, Superman show, fucking Static Shock, Justice League, Teen Titans. That was literally all connected, and they referenced each other.
Yes.
And it worked. Copy whatever they did there. Like, it's not like you have the framework. Anyway, the Superman story that I find most interesting in amongst the DC animated movie, one called Superman versus the Elite. That I do think it has a relevant enough message for modern times. Basically,
That's the one with the British dude, right?
yes, Manchester Black or
Yeah.
whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah.
I
That's the one we
really,
watched together.
yeah, I love
That
that
was a really good
movie.
one.
Yes, because like Superman is a symbol, and like above great adversity, he will continue to represent the goodness in humanity.
Yes.
And I think that like he's not above anybody. He's like no, because that movie showed like we're like the humans will push Superman, but as soon as he starts killing, we're gonna recoil him back. But then he realized, but he's not even realized it was sort of like this is why I don't go that far. I need to hold
Yes.
myself accountable. You need to hold me accountable.
Yes.
Like
And I love that shit. That's what I like
yeah,
about fucking Superman.
yeah,
Is that he knows what he is. But because he was born and raised in the middle of fucking nowhere as a country boy,
yeah,
he appreciates humanity for what they are.
yes,
And but people just fucking just miss the point. I'm sorry, it just irritates me because it's just like I hate Snyder fans. I hate the Snyderverse. I hate so much of that shit because of what they've done.
yes,
I mean, it's one thing to fuck up Batman. It's another if you fuck up Superman because then you really, really have no idea.
yeah. Like to me, it's hard to fuck up Batman. It's harder to fuck up Superman. I I really hope they go through like the Batman animated series or other recent Batman films. I was talking to Trey about this. My favorite Batman animated film to date is the animated ones only. Is Under the Red Hood.
Uh-huh.
God, I love that movie.
Under the Red Hood is really good.
Like, I hope. Apparently, the Batman film they're going to work on is going to incorporate the Bat family into some extent, like Robin,
Okay,
Batgirl,
cool.
etc. And that's great. I don't know what they're going to incorporate or how. My only wish for Batman is that they don't do 60s or Golden Age Batman.
You don't want them to?
Well, I don't want them to do that campy Batman. Partially
You don't want to go
because,
that campy.
yeah,
Understandable. Okay.
he can smile, it's fine. But, like, it's less about, oh, that's not Batman, and more about, we've had a lot of good adaptations of Batman. But do you remember that show, Batman Brave and the Bold?
Yeah.
I think that encapsulated that side of Batman better than any of the
Yeah.
movies ever
Of that
will.
age.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we need
No,
to
100%.
like that side of Batman can rest easy knowing it has that representation for a while now. Like let's focus on
We know
getting
what the Batman movie that they're doing is called, right?
what is it called?
It's called The Brave and the Bold.
Oh fuck!
So
Oh fucking egg on
I
my
was like,
face!
wait a minute.
Fuck egg on my face, I guess. Um,
Yeah, it's coming out. Yeah, it's gonna be 2025. It's gonna be called The Brave and the Bold. And it's not gonna have. It's gonna be its own thing. It's gonna be different. It's gonna be separate from the Batman,
yes.
Matt Reeves Batman stuff, and that's still happening. That's coming out in 2026.
Okay. I am glad that because I do like Matt Reeves Batman. That's getting a sequel, which good.
Yes,
Like
yes,
I
2026.
the one thing I want from that series before we continue is I have one other thing to say about the costume, but one thing I want from the Batman is Matt Reeves series because it's much more of a noir story about like Batman being a detective and not so much the punchy gritty crime fighter. I
Yeah,
want the villain to reflect that. I I actually don't want the Joker to be a main villain in any of the movies.
I agree, and I get the dumbest fucking looks from people whenever I say that. And I'm just like, I'm sorry. We've seen the Joker so many times,
Yeah,
and I get that he's a iconic Batman villain, but Batman has so many great
yeah.
villains
Like
to
you
fuck with and
like
all that stuff.
like if you want to keep him as the background, like keep him in Arkham as kind of just the guy. Like if we did three movies and like ending with just him becoming Batman past year one, and then the cliffhanger ending is the Joker, and we never
Right.
get that realization, we just because we just know, I'd be fine with that because and just we see Joker in the asylum, and I honestly what it should be is he's in the asylum through the sequel, and if there's a third one of that too, he's the one that maybe is like the Hannibal Lecter. where he's not a villain.
I was just saying that that's probably what they're gonna try to go for, possibly.
Yeah, like I would be down
Because did
for
you
that.
see the deleted scene?
Yes.
Yeah, that they had where he basically was like, okay, I see what they're going with that.
Yeah.
Obviously we can't take deleted scenes to heart and all that because I mean it's deleted for a reason. But if that's the idea they want to go with, I wouldn't be upset with that.
Yeah, like that I'd be down with. But there's other villains, and I, I think with Batman villains, there's so many good villains, but as soon as you introduce the Joker, it basically cascades out of control. Where
Right, because of the inherent chaos.
the inherent
associated
chaos,
with-
and the only way to one up that is to go with something more than chaos. Is you have to get some of the more esoteric or superpowered villains like Freeze or Clayface. Like you can't go from Joker and then backpedal to fucking Victor Zsasz.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's. I think that's part of the reason that Dark Knight Return. What was the sequel to Dark Knight called?
I think it was of the Nolan ones, it was the
Yeah.
Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises. I think that's part of the reason the third one wasn't received as well as it was, because objectively the movie's fine, but like once we've experienced the Joker and the world has gone into full chaos, like it,
Like a rehash.
it does,
Because Hush Riddler in the last movie was a lot more like Hush.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what I want, and it's just because I love this villain and villains, I should say, but considering just the whole theme of just paranoia and like secrets and everything in the first one, how great of this would be to go deeper down that rabbit hole and eventually build up to the Court of Owls.
People want that.
I think
And they could totally do it, but they have to build up to it. They can't just throw it out there.
like it has to be a trilogy. Like there needs to be
Yeah.
a second one. There needs to be another like some other lesser villains or something. Like not super powered, but like Gotham villains just to throw out there.
Yeah.
I mentioned Victor Zsasz. Throw him out there. Maybe it's just a throwaway for a bit of the movie.
Uh-huh.
But there's other villains out there. But like the Court of Owls fits so well in that universe specifically.
Yeah.
But in this universe with the Superman, obviously the Batman is going to be more. It might be more like some. I hope if it's close to anything. I remember that show. It's called The Batman, that animated show. I think it was on Kids TV.
Yeah. I just saw a clip of it earlier.
Yeah. I hope it's closer to that
stuff.
if they try to do at least a little bit campy. Is that?
Yeah.
I love the character proportions on that show. Have you seen what Martian Manhunter looks in that show with his Giga Chad chin?
No, hold on. Batman. Oh my god.
Look at that Giga Chad.
Dude, he could fucking cut diamonds with that chin.
I love that show, but the art is ridiculous. Tonally, if they do a little bit jokey, a little bit serious, I think that show does that well. And if he wants to emulate that in the live action Batman, all the better for it, I'd say. To go back to Superman, last thing I'll say about this before we move on to other things. The other complaint I've heard about this Superman suit, which I do not agree with, is people say it's too loose.
Too loose.
I don't get it because first off, he's leaning
because he's putting on. Yeah.
Yeah, he's leaning forward. So I don't know if you ever put on shoes before, but whenever you're leaning forward, your shirt scrunches a bit, and it looks looser than it is.
These people don't put on shoes to go outside. What do you mean?
Granted, I just kind of sit on the couch and like worm my foot into my flip-on shoe like a caveman as well. But I still understand.
Jeez.
Like
that's so funny that people are complaining about like that. Like that's so goofy. People are goofy. People find anything to bitch about.
They will. But before we go into much more positive things, like because we're talking about Peter Jackson tonight. Obviously, you'd want to go into that. Obviously, one is I don't want to go too far into. There is a lot to talk about with this person, but I would like to say just a quick rest in peace to Roger Corman. Um,
Yes.
you may not like some of the movies he made. Obviously, he made things like Sharknado or Sharktopus, and if it was a cheesy movie that came on Sci-Fi or some other, he probably had a hand in it. I have a deep amount of respect for him because no matter what, he always made the movie he wanted to make. He is like the final form of Roger Band. or Charles Band.
Charles Band.
Charles.
Yeah.
He always made
He's
what he
called the
wanted.
king of cult for a reason.
Yes, he made cult films. He always just put his love into everything he made. He didn't have like the practical effects Charles Band did, but even still, he did a little bit of everything. Even to this day, even before till he died, he did a little bit of everything. And
To the point where everything you see these days is just like when it comes either to an actor or to a director, ranging from Ron Howard to like James Cameron or Jack Nicholson, he's had a hand in some way or fashion for their careers.
yes, I I swear I've heard a joke. It was kind of a joke, but kind of a well, it's not even really a joke. But I swear I've heard at some point. It was an interview several years ago now. I don't know if it still applies, where actors would basically celebrate Roger Corman. I think it was just like a documentary, and so the actress said like, "Oh, it's just a word of mouth thing over in Hollywood that it's kind of a rite of passage. You have to be in a Roger Corman film." Because think about it, like
Yeah.
so many big name
Yeah.
actors have been in Roger Corman films for some
Uh-huh.
reason. It's weird. It, and I hope he wore that and that's true and that he wore that fact with a badge of honor.
I know I would.
Like
He should
that's
have.
he. I know it, even though his films are like most of his films aren't award winning. I think describing him as prolific. That is it
Yes.
prolif or prolif?
As a person, I just like prolific.
Prolific. Okay. Yeah, he is prolific. He is brought joy to so many people. I'd say just a quick moment of silence for Roger Corman. May he rest in peace. I am gonna try to put a message there when I edit that, but
Of course.
uh but that and I put his name on the wheel as well. We'll get to that later, but it seemed fitting and appropriate because of how sudden the news was.
Mm-hmm.
But in an attempt to liven up the day, to get to our main topic of Peter Jackson, Beyond Middle Earth. I'm proud of that.
I like that.
Because he didn't. Peter Jackson is another prolific filmmaker, but he really has not done a lot of films.
No, he has not. Looking at his filmography, he has not. He's definitely has the quality over quantity going for him.
Yeah, like there's three movies I could think of that I think that I would want to talk about. Two of them are fairly recent. One is obvious, King Kong.
Right.
Like I think that's the first movie that I was old enough to register. Oh, Peter Jackson. Well, no, that's not true. Um, well, actually, wait. What year did Lord of the Rings come out?
Early 2000s, like 2000, 2001, 2002.
Okay, so King Kong was after that, but after Lord of the
Yeah,
Rings,
King Kong was like 2005, I believe.
uh, King Kong is like to me one of like the quintessential Peter Jackson movies, more so than Lord of the Rings to me, because
Uh-huh.
Peter Jackson he's good at two things in his films, and I I hope that you also want to talk about one of the films I want to talk about. One, he's good at making epics, like thing movies that are very long, have like a lot to say, a lot to do, that like these big scenes. Like he's great at like fantasy or just adventure, like that kind of just epic genre.
Mhm.
That's why he was
Yes.
he like a common complaint I hear about the King Kong movie is that it's too long. it is a long movie. And every time I watch it, it's like, oh, maybe there's something to that. Maybe it's my constant exposure to One Piece. Maybe it's the fact that I've desensitized to watching Super Sentai, and seasons of that are like 50 plus episodes or sometimes. But I watch a 3 hour movie, it's like it didn't feel too long. Like I don't know, like I guess you could cut like some scenes in the boat, but if I were to realistically cut King Kong, I would probably cut out like maybe 5 minutes.
I'm in the camp that I think movies are exactly as long as they need to be.
Yes.
And if it's got good pacing, it's not going to feel that long.
Yes. And
Like the Batman was an almost 3 hour movie.
you
No, it
did
was a
not
3 hour
feel
movie.
you
And it did not feel like one.
Yeah.
Same with King Kong. It's a long movie, didn't feel like one.
Like I would say
It's all about
yeah,
pacing.
yeah, I would say King Kong mostly doesn't feel like one. The only times it does drag, and I think like people took a minor complaint and it elevated it, was the scenes on the boat. I really like the scenes on the boat, but
I agree.
just a few scenes there. I would say maybe trimming the fat, just like cutting a few things here and there, would help. But that's it. Like once they get on the island, there's nothing I would remove. Like
No, I agree.
and
Not a single thing.
like that, like King Kong is a. It's it's so weird to think that he basically made the definitive King Kong before the MonsterVerse came and did his thing,
Right.
and honestly, to some extent, even today, like if you see like people like portraying King Kong in like an animated thing, like I don't know if you've seen like a superhero showdown, like that couple that makes like really simple like animations where they had like like all hero battle royale, all villain battle royale. You know what I'm talking about?
I've heard of them.
Yeah,
I think my stepdad watches those.
yes. Like you have people like them or other people on YouTube. Whenever they have to portray King Kong, even nowadays with the MonsterVerse, they don't fall back to the OG. They don't fall back to the 70s. They don't fall back to the MonsterVerse for recency. They fall back to Peter Jackson. And
Is that
because
so? Okay.
yeah, and I think that's partially because of the Andy Serkis who portrayed King Kong to make him as emotive as they could. But
Yeah.
I think because it is a gorilla, just a more traditional looking gorilla with while still being just big, iconic, and just like it. They somehow made a gorilla look unique and iconic, which I think says a lot for the design of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's hell, they made dinosaurs in God, yeah, they made dinosaurs that both are fake but look real.
Yeah. No, honestly. I really like the dinosaurs in that movie.
Like, yeah, I know this thing. Like, objectively speaking, like this sea serpent, like these T-Rexes, I know these things don't exist, but like they're portrayed in a way where they could totally exist. Like,
Yes. Yes.
like if someone were to tell you that's just an ancient snake and that's just an ancient lizard, you'd be like, no, yeah, that tracks.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go too far to King Kong. Is outside of mentioning like the time and just how good in general he is on just epics. Um, there's I would start droning on King Kong, much like I did in the Kaiju episode. I don't want to do that. I want to save everyone.
Understandable. Of course. We'll save that.
Because plus, there's also two other movies that I want to try to talk a bit more about, if I can. But you have what movie have you any movies you want to talk about before I do that?
So one is one of his earlier ones. It's probably one you were gonna want to talk about too.
Cool.
And another one is one that he had a lot of hand in, but he didn't directly direct it. But he did write it and he did produce it. And that one's the Mortal Engines. I actually watched that one fairly recently. And then the other one is Dead Alive, also known as Brain Dead.
Fuck yeah, Dead Alive. Okay, we're definitely. Oh fuck yeah, Dead Alive.
Yeah. So those are the two I wanted to talk about.
I'll
Want to have a lot of nice things to say. The other one I don't have too many nice things to say.
Well, let's bring it back a little bit because like I also did want to talk about Dead Alive. We could ramble on about that last. So you talk about Mortal Engines. I'll bring it back with the other thing I want to talk about, and then we can shoot the shit about Dead Alive. How about that?
Hell yes. I like that.
All right.
Good idea.
So go off on Mortal Engines to tell us the gospel.
Okay. So you know what one of the things I hate the most when it comes to films is whenever, and this is something a lot of movies do these days, they'll have a fantastic like idea, a fantastic uh like fuck, I can't even think of the word for it. Pretense? No, pretense is not the word for it. Premise. Fantastic premise. And they don't go hard on it. Like they're cowards. They don't fucking go for it, and you get to have this awful, shitty wasted potential.
Yeah, like they don't.
This was that movie.
Oh no.
They don't commit.
Oh.
So in a future in a post-apocalyptic world where you have the Mortal Engines, the name comes from the fact that these cities are alive and move around, and they're so cool looking. Like they're super well animated. The CG on it is fucking awesome. And basically you have like Hugo Weaving's character plays the bad guy, obviously.
Yes.
Being in control.
Imagine
Basically,
being typecasted like Hugo Weaving.
Right? Poor guy. So basically what they do is like in this post-apocalyptic world, they go and scavenge for like old world stuff. And kind of the MacGuffin in the film is like this piece of a weapon that kind of took part in destroying the world. And so obviously he's keeping a secret because like if people found out, oh, you're trying to charge up this thing that kind of got us here in the first place, it's kind of fucked up, dude. It's kind of a huge plot point about it. And there's that, there's the idea of the cities. Sorry, I'm all over the place because I'm trying to like remember everything about the film. I just remember that like I really like the idea of these living cities. I really like the idea in the post-apocalyptic world. They're all just like looking for like random pieces, and then like they have entire museums built around them, being like, "Oh, I think this is what this was done." It's a fucking toaster. And there's cool ideas like that. And then there's also a like a B plot involving like this really cool pre-war like bio weapon that's like this like robot type thing that's basically made purely just to kill, and they look really fucking cool. And it's relegated to a B plot because this thing saves the like the main the protagonist, this girl, and it saves her and raises her after her father passes away, who's killed by the main antagonist in the film, which is what is her like main goal, is getting revenge. And it eventually gets to the machine gets to, I forgot what it was called. I just remember how cool it was. I'll have to find a picture of it for you. It but it's like basically almost unstoppable. It's like Terminator on steroids. It's like this gray with like green like lighting that's kind of like kind of like goes through through its whole body and all that stuff. Looks super fucking cool, super terrifying, very intimidating voice. And like at first you're like, okay, this guy's really chill and all that stuff. And then like, but the idea is that because he feels like he's raised this person, but he knows that she's human, he wants to take her soul and implant it in something like him so he can have a daughter forever. And but she kind of uses him to be like, oh yeah, we'll totally do that. Totally. But she's like, oh dude, I'm just going to fucking dip once, he helps me out with what I need and all that. Yeah. So I can go, kill the bad guy. And so she actually leaves and escapes from this guy. That pisses him off. And so he's like hunting her down. And he's basically the B plot of like, you have like, as like the kind of the main things going on.
What, that's
this
the
monster's
B plot?
like chasing them around. That's the B plot! And as I say, this movie focuses on the wrong shit. Is my biggest issue with Mortal Engines. It focuses on the wrong stuff, the really uncool stuff, and all the really cool stuff is all in the background.
Oh no.
The world building's on point. The other stuff that isn't the part of the main plot is not there, but it's the main plot is very generic. We got to stop the bad guy from destroying the world type stuff.
So I looked up this guy from Mortal Engines. Holy shit. He's like somewhere between like a Necron from Warhammer 40k and the Ghoul from Fallout.
Yes.
Holy shit, this guy looks sick. Why the
and he's played by fucking Stephen Lang.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. And he looks cool as shit. And he's chasing the characters throughout the whole thing. And like, you know, he's really unstoppable because he's a bioweapon, you know? I say he's a bioweapon. He's actually more a robot than anything. And like you see like anytime like people try to help them, he like in a fell swoop just kills them immediately and all that stuff. Like as far as you can go with a PG-13 film.
Yeah,
but
right.
It's so fucking terrifying. And, you know, he's, you know, yelling out to her. He's like, you know, you made a promise to me. And then as he's like fucking like chops a dude in his throat and like fucking caves it in and shit like that. And like,
God.
Yeah, it is like, it's fucking cool. And it gets resolved in a stupid way. It's literally like, oh, well, I guess maybe my humanity is being able to let you go as a person, and maybe that's what's really the true humanity or whatever. And like he fucking dies by falling off a blimp. It's so stupid.
Maybe the real
like,
humanity was the friends you made along the way.
Exactly. It's straight up that. And It's such a cool fucking idea, and that should have been the thing, like the whole like movie and all that stuff. It would have been fucking cool, but no, they had to focus on I am Hugo Weaving and I want to blow up the world. I'm British, and then you know.
See, all I knew about the movie before you started saying that was I knew of like one scene where like the larger city ate the smaller city, and I'm like, oh, that looks fucking cool.
Yeah.
And now you're telling me
that was a really cool scene too. And like a lot of that stuff was really cool. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not important to the plot, so we're not going to focus too much on it, even though it's way cooler than what we're focusing on.
Yeah. Like, you tell me that. It's like,
yeah.
Screw the cities. I want to watch this story, especially if they're watching Fallout. I'm in the fucking mindset for that. Oh,
yeah,
man.
no, 100%. And it's one of those films where it's like, wasted potential will piss me off in a film or any type of art.
So did he just pen the movie? Did he just write it, or?
There's two other writers, so I think he had. If you want me to be 100% honest, I bet you he wrote all the cool stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say, it sounds like he wrote the cool stuff, and everyone else, like director, producer, and the other writers, was just putting in their own bullshit around it.
Yeah. And it was just, it was the amount of world building again is really fucking cool, but everything around, in terms of what was going on with the plot, is generic and just like you've seen it before, and it's not enough to keep the movie afloat. And it just kind of irritates you that you're just kind of like, what the fuck? This is cool as shit. I want more of that. What are you doing with this? And apparently it's based off of a book series.
Damn. That's unfortunate.
So maybe I'll have to read those, and maybe it does properly adapt. That's, you know, it has like stuff in there that I like that sounds way cool.
Yeah.
And go from there. But yeah, no, the Immortal Engines, we watched it like the week of the not the apocalypse, Jesus, the eclipse. Just kind of were like, yeah, sure, let's watch it. And then I was like, damn, this movie had a lot going with it, but it not the parts I wanted to see more of. So that's my take on that. It's just waste of potential.
No, I get that.
Yeah, no, that's essentially what it comes down to. Is just all that, all the cool background stuff, all the world building out the window.
Oh yeah. I think I'll pat it out a little bit before kind of elevate it a little bit before we go ham and talk about Dead Alive, because oh god, I'm so glad you want to talk about that too. But I think Peter Jackson, you have to trust his input, no matter where he is in the movie. Like let him trust him to bring a story or elevate it to some degree.
Yes.
Um,
Let that man cook.
even if he's not the one writing it, if he's gonna like even as a producer, like to me this movie, I think if Peter Jackson wasn't a producer of this movie, it wouldn't be near as big and it wouldn't have been good. And I think very much Peter Jack, I'm willing to bet Peter Jackson only allowed money in this movie if they did put more emphasis on the writing and increase just the general scope of just some of these scenes. That's District 9.
He did have a major.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you could tell.
Fuck, I forgot. He had a major. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, like you could tell, like Neil Blomkamp was the guy who made the movie. This is a Neil Blomkamp film. It's up there with like Chappie and Elysium, so you know what kind of movie that is. But District 9 particularly, you could tell Peter Jackson had some sway to make this more like bigger, and it only helped the movie because I of Neil Blomkamp's films, I think I prefer Chappie personally, but District 9 is objectively the better movie.
Okay. Okay.
Like, and that's just my. I would need to rewatch them both
I agree
back
with
to
you.
back, but
I need to go back and watch like Chappie and all those films because I never actually watched Chappie, but yeah. I
oh,
really enjoyed District 9.
I
I
would.
enjoyed the fuck out of that.
Oh, dude, I might stream Chappie one Sunday just to watch it with that. Just it's so good. Like I thought that movie was gonna be Dead on the Water because there's a musical group that stars in a movie called Diane Wood that are
Hey, I know those guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be Dead on the Water because I don't particularly care for those people, but you know what? I love it when I'm wrong about these things. Like they knew exactly who they were and they played their roles perfectly. And there was a few tear jerky moments from them in that movie.
Oh wow. Oh,
Yeah, like I
hell yeah,
was
dude.
legitimately surprised with like how well they played. Like, cause to go off on before I go back to District 9 to talk about Chappie for a hot second. In Chappie, the big thing why I like their acting is they made it believe that yeah, these people they live a life of squalor. They're poor. Some of them go to a life of crime, but they do a good job at conveying they're in South Africa and they kind of have to. Like
Yes.
they
They're kind of a big part of
we were
that
not
culture.
born in the high rise with rich parents. We were born in the slums. We have to kill to survive. And
Yes.
like every time like the guy I can't even think of their names is talking about that, he'll say something super simple, but it comes through as a lot. Like the guy's just getting frustrated when Chappie's questioning why they have to do bad things, and like this life out here is hard, Chappie. It's you can't understand it unless you've been out here for as long as we have. It's just something like that. It's like okay, I love that they were able to
Yeah.
get like scenes like
Yeah.
that.
It's
Like
just good character moments.
exactly, like Chappie's good character moments, and just then but I think that's what Neil Blomkamp is good at is individual character writing. Because one thing I love about District 9 is the dynamic between the main alien and the actor. Why I need to Mr. Wickus.
Yeah.
Like I remember his name and I remember the actor's name more than I remember his, Charlton Copley, who's a great
Yeah.
actor.
Love that guy.
But like he does wonderful in this movie. Like he's given that forced perspective about like, well, now you have to see it from the alien's perspective. I don't want to give a spoiler as to how or why. It's a big thing in the movie. Well, it's hard. Do you think you know what? Fuck it. The movie's 50, he turns into an alien. The movie's over a decade old. The statute of limitations on spoilers for District 9 is now out the fucking window. But he turns into an alien, and to some extent it's a surprise to some of the bug people and to him because it's a slow process. Like the very last scene is like it shows what is implied to be him with a full transformation,
Mm-hmm.
and he's basically forced to. It's almost similar to Chappie in that regard, where basically like here's this person forced into this life. How will they survive? With obviously uh, a lot of just allegory, a lot of symbolism for just classism and racism.
Yes.
Like
It does it really well.
absolutely,
At least I think it does.
yeah. Like I don't think this is a movie that has the same like epic just fantasy feel as other Peter Jackson movies, but it's able to portray the conflict and just all the emotional moments with all the weight because I think Peter Jackson had that input to make it feel this big. Like
Yeah.
you break down District 9 to its barest essentials and everything happens in the course of a small area between a small number of characters. But because of just the scope you're given and the way these characters talk about everything, it feels more elevated.
Mm-hmm.
It feels important. Like, and by the time you're done watching this, whether you like the movie or not, you feel like this was an important movie to. I, I
I think
think.
it was one of my favorite sci-fi films like that came out that year.
Oh yeah,
Like I'd argue even like in that decade.
I I
So I think it
think.
was like '09, right?
Yeah, 2009, and I
I
think
remember
that
loving it.
yeah, I think that sorry, I think that speaks volumes about Peter Jackson. Is if he's able to take what would have been an otherwise good story and just somehow, if just his hand in it, make it better. Then like he has like the fucking Midas touch as far
Yes.
as like I'm looking through his IMDb page right now. I'll be honest, I'm struggling to find a movie he has touched that I don't like at least a little.
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen Mortal Engines, but even you had a lot to talk about it. You still like talked about like how awesome this one character is. It does sound like that, yeah, because he wrote it. It just sounds like he had wrote all the good shit, and then
Uh-huh.
but
Yeah, it's hard not to enjoy anything he's like even if it's like bad, quote unquote, like it's not awful.
yeah.
Like it's still entertaining, which is, you know, what a movie should set out to be. And he just has such a good eye for like really good world building, which is probably why he loved Lord of the Rings so much and why he wanted to do it because
Oh,
holy
for
shit.
sure.
Oh my god, that's
Like
so much world building.
like
Um
Lord of the Rings and
yeah.
Hobbit are like the reason that Peter Jackson is one of the only people I would trust to redo Neverending Story if they ever redid Neverending Story.
Hey.
Like if you tell me Peter
Yeah.
Jackson's the Neverending Story, I'm sold.
I'll be there. Yeah. We will be seated.
Yes. Um, but his older movies, even with how weird and funny they were, that's one thing. Before pre 2000, he did a lot of comedies with a hint of horror.
Yes.
Like
Law horror comedy.
a lot of
Yes.
horror comedy. It's just a weird subgenre to like get close to mastering, and then he just decided let's do Frighteners and Lord of the Rings,
Right.
and then
Let me just casually drop one of the most iconic film trilogies of
yeah,
all time.
like, oh, what did he make before it? I mean, he made Meet the Feebles. That was weird. Dead Alive was funny. We really trusted this guy with Lord of the Rings. 10 years later, I can't believe it. Motherfucker did it.
He did it.
It's him. It's not him. No.
Imagine letting just a director just do their thing
Yes.
that has a style that knows what they're doing.
Yeah. I I do think for good and for ill, Peter Jackson, his success with Lord of the Rings is the reason that more filmmakers or more directors, producers, and whatnot later would or more studios, I should say, like just after that, would trust more experimental filmmakers with high end IPs.
Yes.
Like I don't think it's exaggerating to say that Peter Jackson is because he did like love or hate some franchise, maybe like Star Trek more, whatever. Your feelings aside, Lord of the Rings trilogy is one of the best film trilogies in the world. That's just a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I mean, like, even if you like, yeah, again, like, even if you don't even like him, like, it's like you have to understand, like, it's iconic.
Yeah.
It's very much a film series trilogy that basically made a whole era of films that for people that still want to watch this. I mean, they're still making like stuff and doing things with it to this day.
Yeah.
There's a whole TV series on Prime.
Oh yeah, and we honestly we could have a whole episode on Lord of the Rings, and it's kind of why I wanted like let's focus on the stuff that's not, because of course before it he did all those horror comedies. I thought about watching Frighteners. I still
Yeah.
I thought about it. It was a toss up between I thought it was a toss up between Frighteners and Dead Alive. Dead Alive lives rent free in my head. I fucking love the lawnmower scene. I will just be working one day, and just randomly in the back of my mind I'll just hear I kick ass for the Lord.
Yes.
I love
There's
Dead
so
Alive.
much great with that movie, man. And it's like, so story time on this film.
Yes.
This is another film I was probably way too young to be watching because
Yeah,
I had mentioned it to my dad. How I was like, oh yeah, I didn't realize Peter Jackson did like this zombie movie that's like one of the most goriest films ever made and all that stuff. And then like the next weekend, like we came to visit him, he bought it and he's like,
Yeah.
let's watch it. And we just made a day out of it and watched it, and I was just blown away.
Oh my god.
I was blown away by it. Like I was like, holy shit. I was like, I've never seen anything like. I watched Kill Bill and all that stuff. Don't be wrong. There's the freaking Crazy 88 scenes was like probably the craziest I've watched.
Yeah.
This takes the cake.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, fuck, dude. Like, but I also didn't realize how it was gonna be such a comedy. And it really early on, it gets that through your head.
Oh yeah.
Because I love that scene when they're on. I'm now realizing like how much like Peter Jackson wanted to do a King Kong film, because literally the monkey that causes all this is from Skull Island.
Yup.
And but yeah, no, that scene where the monkey's like biting the fucking dude that like is trying to bring it back and all that stuff. And he gets attacked by it and all that, and that's what is causing people to turn into the undead in this film. And the guys are like, oh, we gotta like chop off. They're like, oh, chop off his hand, and like they like see like the bite mark on his hand, so they chop off his hand, and then like he's like turning, and he's like, oh no, my hand, and like he sees that there's a bite mark on his other arm. They're like, oh, and they fucking chop off the arm.
Yeah.
He's like, ah, and he's like, fucking like he's like handless and armless, and then they see on his head, his forehead, that he has another bite mark. Like, oh, and then they fucking.
Oh my
Go and kill him, and then the fucking like it's blood splatters onto the fucking title screen and all that. I'm just like, oh, I get what this movie is. And so like early on, it makes you realize like this is a fucking goofy horror comedy. It is over the top, because how am I supposed to play this straight being this over the top?
Oh yeah.
I can't.
If straight up, if you get as far as the fucking Shrek baby, you know what I'm talking about, and you're not laughing at the movie, there's no hope. You're not going to enjoy the rest of it, because by the time once it gets there, from that point on, it just goes off the fucking rails. Like
Yes.
I said, that the lawnmower scene, the fucking first person lawnmower scene.
Yeah, when he's going through and just lawn mowing all the zombies at the party and all that stuff, and then like it doesn't run out of gas, and there's still more around, and he tries to run, but he's like fucking like Looney Tunes walking in place because there's so much blood on the ground.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, like Peter Jackson knew what he was making, dude.
This is, no matter what he tries, it's good. Like I told Trey, like if you want to see, I know it's weird to think about what filmmakers did before, like with Charles Band. It's weird to think he did Dragon World, but also made Puppet Master. One weird tidbit I learned recently: the guy who made the Dune movies made fucking Happy Feet. But
yes,
none of that to me is as jarring as knowing that the guy who made the Hobbit made fucking Dead Alive.
Yes, this fucking the goriest, most over the top zombie film ever that has two zombies fucking having a zombie baby.
Yeah.
The final boss is a mutated giant titty monster.
Giant titty mama monkey rat thing.
that eats the protagonist. And the protagonist beats the enemy by fucking sawing through its stomach.
Yes.
And also what was the scene where the one party goer like chops up all the zombies with cleavers and all that stuff, and then like they speed up the footage and make him, and he like they chops them all up and they're all like twitching and stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
What else happens in that movie? Oh, and they take the zombie baby to a park.
Yes.
And he's trying to not let the zombie baby like eat people and all that stuff. And it gets so fucking slapsticky hilarious because like the zombie baby gets like fucking flung through the air and shit. Yeah. And like, oh my gosh. Again, Peter Jackson knew what he was doing with this film and where he was going with it. And it was like, because if this movie was played straight, you know, the censors and all of them would have been like, this is the, you know, disgusting, nasty film. And, you know, I mean, it's still like a lot of the censors and like, still like got a hold of this film and like, not rightfully took it apart, but like they, you know, they censored the fuck out of it. But like, it makes it easier to stomach.
Yes.
Because of how goofy it is. Because it is pretty gnarly, but because it's played so goofily,
I know.
You're like, okay, this is silly. I love this. Like, I mean, like, how else? Like, no one's gonna be still alive after their fucking rib cage gets pulled out in front of them.
Yeah,
you know. But like, and them be able to react to it. But yeah, no, it's like I think the goofiness definitely adds to being able to probably enjoy it more. And be able to stomach a lot of the crazy, gross out violence that happens. Except the scene when the pus gets into the porridge.
Oh God,
and the woman eats it. That scene's rough. That one, like, nope. So that was definitely one of the, it's definitely gross out, but because it's goofy, you can kind of handle it, except for that one.
I'm looking up the IMDb about like the actors. I looked up the who played what like in other roles. First one I clicked was Father Magruder, the priest. I can cast the Lord. I was like, wonder what else this guy's been on. The first picture I see is like, oh, no wonder I like this guy. I didn't realize he was. This motherfucker played villains in Power Rangers.
Oh my God, did he really?
Yeah, oh my God, he was.
I'm looking this up.
Yeah, he was a Dino Thunder and Mystic Force apparently.
That's a cool ass looking villain too. What the fuck is that?
Oh, Imperius. Yeah,
that's cool as shit.
Mystic Force. Yeah, side tangent. It's from Mystic Force. Don't watch Mystic Force. Watch Magic Ranger. And I'm only like, I know there's a lot of Sentai appearance out there. This one particular is weird because Magic Ranger, the Sentai, the whole premise is like the 5 main people are siblings. They are brothers and sisters. It is a magic family.
And it looks like it's like supposed to be like knights and shit too.
Yes, it's like knights and shit. It is a good one. It's not like the best in Sentai, but it is a good one. But keep that hold that fact hard because in Mystic Force, it was really weird looking back to Mystic Force after Magic Ranger because in Mystic Force, like just in the main team, there's like 2 couples and it's like, oh, that's your sister. That's all I could think. Yeah, it's. They're not brother and sister in Mystic Force, but I know they're not because that's all I can think. But no,
I see. Okay,
it is a good. Like I always love recommending. Let's see, he was in Dead Alive. He was in another Peter Jackson movie, Meet the Feebles. He was in The Frighteners.
Oh, so he just kind of collaborated with him.
Yeah. Okay.
For a while.
He was in a Hercules show.
Oh, look at that. He sure was.
Yeah. I think of what I. There's two shows that their title they could go either way in quality that I'm looking at this guy's filmography. I'm curious about. One is The Almighty Johnsons. Oh,
Are they?
okay. I'm actually gonna look the show up later because I love this description. Four brothers living in New Zealand are modern reincarnations of Norse gods.
Dude, Thor, the sitcom?
That seems like it is, and that could be
That seems like, well, yeah.
it could be all sorts. The other one, because I love the title and how stupid this looks, The Amazing Extraordinary Friends. Just a super. It's a shitty Super Friends parody.
That sounds fucking awesome.
It's a series. God. Oh, it's the Nate Dog. I shall bring you in a crows. Oh,
Crows!
you have been. Oh, crowd. I've been granted a crowd. Oh, thank you.
Look at that crowd.
Thank you, Nate Dog.
Look at those crows.
Look at those crows. The crowd of crows.
Thank you, Nate Dog. Appreciate you.
Uh, 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 I want to go. You are here. We were just talking about Dead Alive and how much of a wonderful thing that is. Obviously, Peter Jackson, he's done a lot of movies worth talking about. Because I didn't rewatch it in preparation for this, I can't talk a whole lot about The Frighteners. Apparently, the only future projects we know Peter Jackson is working on is the sequel or possible sequels to the Tintin movie he did.
He did a Tintin movie?
Yeah, Adventures of Tintin. He was the producer, and apparently that's getting sequels, and he's...
That was... What?
Yeah. Oh, well, no, when you watch that movie, no, it's just like with District 9. Like, you know, his hand was in it, so, like, everything is elevated. You could tell. Like, the movie about Tintin, you'd think it'd just be a weird kid's movie, but as soon as Peter Jackson puts his hand on it, I was like, oh, this is...
I thought that was Spielberg.
I think, yeah. Spielberg directed. Peter Jackson was a producer.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And it just kind of swept under the rug, which is a shame because I watched that movie a while ago.
I heard that movie
it's good.
Was fantastic.
It is very good. Like if you like I think it's like it's one of his only like true to heart kids movies he did. Realistically, yeah. Son of a bitch, yeah. But it is good. But I like there's a lot to talk about.
And Edgar Wright wrote it too?
Yeah. No, yeah.
Why did this movie not do good? God damn it!
I really think it's the IP. I truly think it's the IP. And half people are like, who the fuck is Tintin? I was asking.
I didn't know anyone was touching this film. I just knew it was a Steven Spielberg movie. I have to fucking go watch this movie now.
Oh yeah, no, it is good. It is very good. Like I want to see if there's a place to stream it. Like, let me check that real quick. Where to watch Adventures of Tintin?
MGM Plus, Paramount Plus, Prime.
Oh, you can watch it on Prime. Paramount.
Cool. All right.
With a subscription. No. I'd say this is someone with an iPhone. Don't get Apple TV. It's a fucking scam. I'm already paying monthly. I don't. It seriously. If I'm already paying monthly, why the fuck am I going to pay additional fees per movie? That's absurd.
That's so silly that they would do that.
Like the only reason I'm ever going to get a free trial on Apple TV is so I can watch do my monthly viewing of fucking oh god, what's that Ryan Reynolds, Will Ferrell Christmas Carol movie?
That's a good fucking question.
It's a really good movie. Hold on.
I didn't know they Spirited?
That's it, Spirited. That movie is really fucking funny. Like
I forgot this was a thing.
If it ever comes out on DVD, I will lose all need to watch anything on Apple TV. But that and the Tetris movie, which I forgot to watch when I had a free trial. Like I had that.
I forgot they had a Tetris movie too.
Yeah, like they had the. I had a free trial to watch Monarch Legacy of Monsters, great show, and rewatch Spirited for the holidays. Spirited still funny fucking movie. Monarch Legacy of Monsters was great, and I meant to watch Tetris because the trailer hooked me. Just because like it's a video game movie about Tetris. How are they gonna do this? It's a goddamn spy thriller about how they got the game to the States and on the Game Boy. All right.
Okay.
And apparently, here's the interesting thing. That's mostly true. They had to go through so many legal loopholes and actually go into Russia during Cold War era Russia to get people to agree to put the game on the Game Boy.
That's fucking crazy.
And this movie is just like that story with a little bit of Kingsman spice. And I'm like, that looks fun. Like I want to watch that movie.
I want to watch that too. Damn it.
You know, just
I'm
because we
getting Apple
talked about
TV.
it, when I put this on YouTube and make the playlist of trailers, I'm gonna put the trailer for Tetris on there just to confuse people.
I love that.
But I think that'll bring us to the very end here. But bring us to the almighty wheel.
The wheel.
Most
I
of
do
the
like me a wheel.
most of the topics, same as last week: anime, films, 80s horrors, movie you want to see in theaters, remakes. What the fuck did I just watch? And video game movie. Those are all there. I took off peak 90s aesthetic because last episode we talked about Charles Band, and I think at the very least the crowd wants more. Nate Dogg, we've been at this for about almost 2 hours now. I don't know what to tell you, buddy. Like, there'll be more in 2 weeks, and of course it'll be on YouTube. But no, like I took off peak 90s aesthetic because Charles Band is a big proponent of peak 90s aesthetic. So I figured let's take a break from that topic, at least a break.
Yeah.
And since I also obviously took off Peter Jackson, in its stead, one, Roger Corman, King of Cult Film. In honor of his passing, it's worth talking about. He's going to remain on the list. He is definitely a filmmaker worth talking about, both good and bad. Like, thank you for the stream. No problem. Oh, stay a little longer. We got stay for the wheel, Nate Dogg. We got to spin the wheel because the last topic that could win is hand drawn Disney films. Last time in the chat, there was people talking about incorporating Disney. I think I'm going to do that in parts. I can't just do broad Disney. There's too much to talk about. So first, Disney, if it wins, hand drawn. That's basically early era Disney. We have a tighter lift to deal with before we start voicing our opinions on like live action remakes, some of the CG stuff, good or bad. But anyway, without further ado, let us spin the wheel and see what our next.
I'm going to
topic
rig
is.
it, and I'm going to say it's video game movies.
Well,
I'm
let's see
rigging
what
it right
happens. Closing my eyes, I'm gonna be surprised.
Come on, let's go.
Remakes.
Oh,
all right.
Okay, remakes. It is
Remakes, good or bad. Like, or I guess if there's a remake that you want to talk about, all right. No particular director, no particular movie. It's kind of just okay. That's fun. And I've been talking about it, but I want to bring a third person in here. I really do. Like the seat's big. I want to bring us some friends in here to talk about remakes the next time we do this. I'm gonna ask around if you want to be in the next stream. Hit me up. While it could change, we obviously changed the date of this one because we didn't want to stream on Mother's Day.
yes.
Tentatively,
We didn't want to do that to y'all.
Oh yeah, we love our mothers here on the Kino Corner. But I guess as a tentative date, is the 26th still like a week from Sunday essentially to get us back on the bi-weekly Sunday schedule?
Let me see. Because I actually think I work on the 26th. Believe it or not. Yeah, because I think that's the day before Memorial Day.
Oh, that's right. 27th is Memorial Day.
Yeah, I do work the 26th. I work 3 to 11.
Well, if you're off on the 27th, could we do it then and have a Memorial Day episode?
It looks like I'll only have Wednesday off.
Yeah, that's fine. Because of other things, I want to avoid the second. So Wednesday the 29th.
Sure, let's do it.
Day the 29th. Eventually, I want to get us back on the Sunday schedule, but you know, a lot of stuff happens. But tentatively speaking, next, if we have to push it back, there'll be an announcement. But tentatively speaking, the next episode will be on the 29th. We're talking about remakes. And if any y'all want to hop in here and chat with us for an hour or two, just about movie news, remakes, etc., let us know. I do want to bring in another voice in here. I said I wanted to do it, and now I feel as much as I love hearing the Kitty Man's voice, I wanted to talk with all of my friends about it, you know?
Yes. It doesn't have to be just me. There's other people watch movies, believe it or not.
Yes.
And not just us.
This chair's been reserved long enough. I want Butch to get in here and just one day there's like a super detailed robot just in the...
Yes, a fully a fully created robot.
Yes.
Like Transformers.
100%, 100%. And there we go. Da-da-da. I need to fix my... I have my wheel set up in a weird way where it's just a hydro slideshow. But anyway, just thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all on the 29th. Well, that's the Wednesday after Memorial Day. We'll talk about movie remakes. Y'all have a good one. Yeah.
Have a good one. Thank y'all.